Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today to film a couple of videos. I'm so excited. I haven't filmed in 2 to 3 weeks. We have currently gone back into lockdown in Melbourne. So my little morning free every weekend where my partner would take the baby out to visit his family, I don't have those anymore. So that's when I used to try to film, and now I can't. So I haven't filmed for I think 2 to 3 weeks, and I miss it. So today I'm grabbing the opportunity while my partner's taking the baby for a bit of a walk to get into some filming. Now I'm going to film 2 videos today. One is going to be a tag and one is going to be, I just brain farted, a video about palettes that I haven't ever used but have been in my collection for quite some time, and why I haven't used them and do I regret buying them. And yeah, I'm going to film that one next as well. So let's get on to the tag. All right, so this is the $1,000 Sephora Fantasy Basket tag. Now, I wasn't going to do this. I did see that Emily Noel created this one and it has been going around over the last couple of weeks. It was only a couple of days ago when I was talking to Hayley, and she was filming this and also sending me messages about things that she might want to buy. And currently when I'm filming this, there's a Sephora sale in Australia, so there's 20% off everything, and it sort of sparked me browsing online to see, did I want anything 20% off? And as I was browsing, I was like, bugger it, I'll just add a whole bunch of stuff to my favorite list, and I'll film this tag. So that's what I'm doing. Essentially the premise is, if money was no option, what products would you buy and why? So just because this is called the $1,000 Sephora Fantasy Basket doesn't mean you need to get the products up to $1,000. I think my cart is actually like over $2,000 Australian, which, mind you, that's probably like $1,200 US, so close. But it's just sort of like a name for the tag. So if you did want to do this, you can just put in as much as you want, and the $1,000, you don't have to get it to $1,000, if that makes sense. Another thing that both Emily and Hayley discussed, which I think is really important, is that if we had the money for these products, it doesn't mean we'd necessarily buy them. It's just sort of like, these are things that have piqued our interest, and if money was no object, it would be something that I would look at potentially buying. But it doesn't mean that if I had the money, I would buy it. I wouldn't spend my savings on a lot of these things. So it's just that when I'm browsing through, these are the things that sort of stood out as being vaguely interesting to me. But again, I probably wouldn't put my money where my mouth is. And if you do want to know what products I did actually buy during the sale, I'll talk about them at the end, because I did buy 3 items. If you want to guess as you're going along, and let me know in the comments what 3 items you think I bought during the sale, let me know, because I did buy 3. To make this introduction even longer, another thing I want to just explain is that Sephora in Australia doesn't stock a lot of brands that Sephora in US has. So a lot of brands like Urban Decay and Hourglass and Too Faced and all these other brands are Mecca exclusive. So we have different things that are stocked in Sephora. So if you're thinking like, Kat, I thought you would have wanted to buy blah, it might not have been a brand that is actually stocked in Sephora Australia. And I'm only looking at things that are on their website as well, which is actually a different company to the Sephora stores. The online store and the in-store stores stock different things. They stock mostly the same things, but there are slight differences. So again, it's kind of limited with what's available. All right, with all that hoo-ha out of the way, let's talk about the products that are currently in my basket. All right, I just made the stupid mistake of putting all my favorited things in my cart so I can get the total, but some things are out of stock, so I lost them. They've been lost. Now I need to find them again. Fuck this shit. All right, so let's start with the ultimate fantasy product, because if we're going to go there, we may as well go there. Tom Ford. Now, I have been interested in one of their fragrances for quite some time. Whenever I'm at the airport going anywhere, I always smell it. But it is 345 Australian dollars, and it is not something that I'm willing to buy right now. But it is the Mandarino di Amalfi Can you tell that I have an Australian accent and I butchered the crap out of that name? Yes. Anyway, so this is a fragrance that is a citrus scent, and I really love fresh scents. So Tom Ford generally is a brand that I tend to avoid because their fragrances are quite musky and heavy and really, yeah, they're just heavy scents for me and they cause headaches. Whereas this one is the one that I have smelt. The bottle is beautiful. It looks luxurious. It smells beautiful. It's, you know, citrus, fruity, fresh. So it's something that I really want to try. Does it have the description? All right, the notes are jasmine, orange blossom, grapefruit, mint, and thyme. So it's a beautiful sort of fresh scent. It has been on my wish list for probably about 2 years now, so I wanted to address that one. It is out of stock, and it is always out of stock in Sephora. So yeah, that would actually in the future be one that if I saw a 20% off site-wide, so maybe I'll keep it in my favorites. So whenever I see it back in stock and there's a sale, I'm just going to be like, fuck, I'm buying you. But let's move on to makeup. So the thing that sort of straight away caught my attention is the Natasha Denona Bronze Eyeshadow Palette. This is 111 Australian dollars. I think on sale it took it down to 88, and this is currently out of stock, but it is the latest Natasha Denona sort of large palette. These are midi size pans. They're not like the $200 palettes. They're a bit more affordable, but this has a beautiful sort of warm bronzy vibe to it, and that is what I've been digging lately. On my eyes today, I'm actually wearing a new Too Faced palette that I bought from a Mecca sale, so I'm still buying makeup. I'm not wearing makeup, but I'm buying it. I don't know why. But this is the palette that I'm currently wearing and currently loving. And on my lips, if anyone wants to know, it's the Sigma Infinity Point lipstick in Déjà Vu. Beautiful. I'm loving them. They're fun. I'm really enjoying playing with makeup when I have the chance to do it. So yeah, this palette, it's just sort of a bronze palette. I'm vibing these colors. I really love bronzers. They work really well on my coloring. Natasha Denona, I do find that their quality is not often worth the money, but if the color story really sort of inspires me, it's one that I do sort of, I'm interested in. So yeah, this is just their newest palette. I love bronzers. It is what it is. All right, so while we're on the topic of eyeshadow palettes, clearly eyeshadow palettes for me are one of my weaknesses. It's one of those areas where that and lip products, I just sort of can't always justify buying more, which is ridiculous. Base products and stuff, I'm like, no, I want to use up a few before I get on to buying any more. But when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, I'm like, ooh, I want it. I will use it. I will love it. But that does not mean that if I had the money, I'd buy all of these. This is just some that I came across that I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that. I wouldn't mind swatching it. I wouldn't mind playing with it. Now, there are quite a few Natasha Denona ones. I do find that as I'm sort of getting more and more into basic sort of bronzy nude looks, Natasha Denona has like a plethora of sort of really just basic brown palettes, which I'm vibing with. They're really easy. They're things that I can quickly throw on and create a nice look with. So I have put a few things in my cart, but again, I probably wouldn't buy all of them. And a lot of these are way too expensive. Most of these are those big pan palettes, which I don't like. I like her mini palettes or her midi size palettes where you get more variety for less money. I don't like the ones that have the big pans that you sort of will only ever hit pan on if you're a makeup artist. I feel like they're too expensive and it's too much product. But while we're here, let's talk about them. So the first one is the Star eyeshadow palette. This has been around for years and years and years and years and years. In Australia, it's $268, which is very expensive. It's got two sort of 9-pan quads, and again, a lot of these are brown, which I do like. Now, this was never on my radar when it first came out, because when it first came out, I was more into color. But now that I'm coming back to browns and boring shit, this is actually on my radar again. And I have heard a lot of people say really good things about this particular palette. So yeah, would I part with the money? No, but it is one that I would try if I had the opportunity to. Another big Natasha Denona palette that is too expensive. Again, they're the big pans and they're things that I don't need in my life, but it is one that I've looked at numerous times, and it's the Bieber palette. This is like the epitome of your basic nude. It's got some neutral nudes, some warm tone nudes, some cool tone nudes. Majority of it's matte. I have swatched this in store quite a few times, and whenever sales are coming up, I'm like, do I? And I always say no. And the reason that I have not parted with my money is essentially the split between mattes and shimmers. This has 3 shimmers and all the rest are mattes. So this is a 15-pan eyeshadow palette. And for me, I like a 50-50 split, or, you know, 40-60 split. I don't care which either way, but I do like a lot of shimmery eyeshadows. That's what I generally put over the majority of the lid. And then I use the mattes to sort of create or finalize the look, finish the look, whatever. So for me, this is just not enough shimmer variety, and that's what has stopped me from buying this time and time again. But it is one that I always come back to, and I would part with a couple $100 if it had more shimmers in it, but it doesn't. On that same sort of note, I really like the Camel eyeshadow palettes. This is a 5-pan eyeshadow palette. Again, these are the big sort of pans. 78 Australian dollars for 5 eyeshadows is too much money for me. And again, I really like how brown this is, how basic this is. I do like the split between shimmers and mattes here because it's sort of like 3 mattes, 2 shimmers. But if this was mini pans, I would definitely look at buying this. But because it is the big pans, I just can't do it. But this is one of those sort of travel, easy, everyday palettes. If I wasn't into makeup, like if I wasn't a crazy person that needs like hundreds of palettes, which for some reason I am, this would be one that I would, you know, buy, wear to work and just use every single day. All right, last Natasha Denona palette, and I'm even thinking this is way too much. I would never buy this many Natasha Denona palettes, but yeah, they all sort of interest me to some degree. So this is the mini Glam eyeshadow palette. I like this format a lot more. These are much smaller pans. It's 42 Australian dollars, which I think is a little bit more palatable. And this is a cooler toned palette. Now, I really like the look of this because one thing I've noticed over the last sort of year or two is I really like cool toned browns, like cool toned bronzes, cool toned golds, and they're very hard to find. Not super hard to find, but generally when you find an eyeshadow palette that is bronze, they usually go really warm. So for example, the Natasha Denona bronze palette has a lot of red tones to it, a lot of copper tones, a lot of yellowy gold tones, whereas I'm looking for things that have a cooler tone to them. So this one really piques my interest to the point that I've been looking up reviews of it. I'm like, this is interesting. So this is just, again, similar to the Camel palette, one of those daily palettes. I like the split of shimmers to mattes of this more, 3 shimmers, 2 mattes. They're the type of mattes that I use in sort of any look, and then you have a bit more versatility with the sort of shimmer shades, a highlight shade, a cooler tone shimmer, and a sort of neutral bronzy shimmer. This looks gorgeous. And I think out of all the palettes, that's the one that I sort of vibe with the most with my current makeup style. All right, moving on to other brands with eyeshadow palettes. Again, this is eyeshadow palette heavy, I apologize. All right, this is a Viseart Dark Mattes palette. This is $144. Again, this is too expensive. I really love Viseart eyeshadows, and they have only started popping up on the Sephora Australia website, so there's only limited palettes available. If they had a lot more of their mini palettes, like their edit palettes, they would have made it in this video because that's what actually I prefer. I love those little mini palettes. They're really gorgeous. The quality is really beautiful, and the size is perfect for consumer use. This is more of a makeup artist palette, so it's not one that I would actually buy. If I had the dark edit palette, which I'll put a photo on the screen on the Sephora website, I would have actually picked that instead of this, but because I don't have that online, I sort of use this as an example of something I'd want to delve into. So I've heard really good things about this palette. It's like a classic palette. It's been around for years and years, and you can get a lot of variety with the mattes. Again, it's very colorful. It's all matte, so it's not one that I would use on a daily basis, but it's one that I think would be fun to play with. So again, not one I'd actually part money with, but Viseart, they're on my radar, and particularly the edit palettes. So yeah. All right, I've got 2 more eyeshadow palettes because this is ridiculous. So the second last one I want to talk about is the Tarte Clay Play Face Shaping Palette Volume 2. Now, this looks really basic. It looks really crap. It looks so boring as fuck, but at the same time, there is something about it that vibes with the makeup that I'm currently doing. Quick makeup, bit of nude makeup that you throw on. You only have to reach for one thing, maybe 2 shades, maybe 3 shades, and you're done. And this has that in spades. It's got a light sort of pinky trio. It's got a beautiful cool toned brown trio, which is what I really like. And then you have a warmer toned bronze trio, which is a little bit more rich, I guess. So it's got that. It's also got what looks like 2 blushes and a highlighter. I do like the formula of their blushes and their highlighter. So it's something that I could see myself taking this traveling, not that we're traveling anywhere, or just reaching for really basic daily makeup. I also quite like the Tarte formula. It's just that I think with the palettes they have in their permanent collection, a lot of them don't really inspire me. So I haven't bought many, but this is one that it's so basic and so boring, but so usable in my current state. So that was one that I thought, look, if I saw that heavily reduced, like if that was like 70% off, I would buy that in a heartbeat. All right, the last palette I want to talk about is the Marc Jacobs Iconic palette. This is a limited edition one. It's only come out recently and it's in the shade Extra, I feel like I need like 40 takes to say this, Extravagance. It's extravagance, but it's got like a little, it breaks it up and it's really clunky. It's very clunky. Don't like the name of that. Feel like taking that off the list just because it's annoying to say. But I wanted to try these eyeshadow palettes for the longest time. I really want to try the quality. I generally really like Marc Jacobs products. Their eyeliners are beautiful. Their lip products are beautiful. I don't like their foundations, but face products are beautiful. So I do quite like them overall. I haven't tried their eyeshadow formula though, so it's always been one that I want to try. But for $75, I wanted to wait for a color story that really speaks to me. And this newer one, this sort of gold themed one, doesn't 100% speak to me, but it's enough for me to go, oh yeah, I'll swatch that in store. If I saw that in store and I loved the formula of it, I would give it a crack. But yeah, I'm quite hesitant until I see it in store. When it comes to Natasha Denona, Tarte, and all those other brands that I sort of spoke about, I know the quality of those. So this is the mystery for me. So I wouldn't buy it, but yeah, it's on my radar. All right, let's talk about other products. And I think I only have one colored lip product, which is very strange because normally I am quite into a bunch of different lip products. I love changing up my lip color. I wear so many different colors, but I didn't really delve into looking at Sephora, like the lip section, because I don't really, at this point in time, I don't really need any lip products. So even though there might be formulas that I'm like, oh, I would give that a crack. I'm more looking at like lip balms and comfortable things. It's currently winter. I'm in a lot of heating. My lips get chapped. And I'm not wearing a lot of color anymore because I'm not leaving my house. So the thing that I did put in my cart, this has been something I've wanted to try for quite some time. And yeah, I probably should have bought this, to be fair, because I do want to try it. But this is the Marc Jacobs Enamored Hydrating Lip Gloss Stick. And the shade that I was looking at was Sugar Sugar. Now, I do also know that the shade One Mauve Time is really, really beautiful, but it's probably a little bit too pink toned for my liking. So I'd probably go for the true sort of light nude that looks more almost clear almost. But these are essentially a stick lip gloss. So it's I just think the idea of it looks gorgeous. I have played with them in store. We have destroyed the mauve one on the Makeup Breakup, so I'm familiar with what the formula is like, and it's something that I really want to try. So that's why that was on my list. Again, 43 Australian dollars for a tinted lip gloss stick product, when I'm really happy with like ColourPop ones that are $5 US. I find this really hard to buy, but it's something that I really, I keep going back to it. So there we go. Another thing that I am intrigued to try, because I've heard so many good things about it, is the Fenty Gloss Bomb lip luminizer lip gloss thing. And the shade that really interests me is Fenty Glow. I think that's the original color they came out with, but it's like a really neutral nude color. It's not too pink, it's not too brown. It's really, really beautiful. They do have a lot more shades since that, but that is the nude one that I am most interested in, that and probably the clear. But I've heard so many great things about it. Fenty is a brand that trying some of their products. I've tried only a handful of their products. I haven't been super impressed by them. I did quite like their matte foundation, but when it came to their lipsticks and a few other products, I was like, these aren't as great as I want them to be, so I've held off buying this, but it is something that intrigues me. I also found this in a duo, so this is the Double Take Lip Duo. They're 2 full size, and you get the shade Fenty Glow, which is the one I was looking at, and also Sweet Mouth, which is a lighter one, slightly more pink, but it is a nude, and that is, you save a bit of money. So that's 50 for 2 instead of, I think, 31 for 1. So that is something that, look, I put them both in my cart. Would I buy them both? No, but you know, they interest me. Becca has recently brought out some highlighter products that I don't need and I would not buy, but at the same time, I'm not going to lie that these are things that I would definitely swatch in store, and if they were good enough to twist my arm, I would buy them. One of the newest things is the Ignite Liquefied Light Highlighter. I do actually like their original, what were they called? Shimmering Skin Perfector liquids. They were quite nice, and this is a different formula, but it's something that, I don't know, if it worked really well on my skin, on my base, and the sort of makeup I like to wear, this would be one that I probably want to buy. I have very bad luck with liquid illuminators or liquid highlighters, so it's not one that I would want to just spend $64 on without doing, maybe getting a sample and doing some like rigorous testing, but I'm not going to lie that it doesn't pique my interest. So the one that probably is most interesting to me is the shade Passion, which is a pale incandescent pearl that reflects gold. It just looks like something that I can wear all year round. And it's not too warm, it's not too cool. There is a pink one called Acceptance, there is more of a gold one called Creativity. Passion seems to be a mix of those two, and it looks gorgeous. It looks really beautiful on the images, so yeah, it's something that I like the look of. A couple more Becca things actually. So another highlighter that again I wouldn't buy, but it looks so pretty, and this would be one that I would have to swatch in person. This is the Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in Own Your Light. So this is a limited edition shade. And this is, what do they call it? All right, so they say it's a warm gold infused with luminous peach and pink pigments. So they say it's a universal highlighter, and it looks really, really gorgeous on everyone. Now, I do have pink and peach highlighters coming out the wazoo, and surprise, surprise, I never wear them because they are colors that, I don't know, they're cool in theory and they're fun to swatch, but they're not something that you want to wear every day. But the models make this look really, really gorgeous. They give me the vibe of the Berlin Girl Glow, which was more of a nude with a cool tone shift, almost like a silvery blue shift. And that is gorgeous on the skin. This looks like it's a pink version of that, where it almost has maybe a translucent or a nude base, and then it's got a beautiful cool toned pink shift. If it is subtle and it is really flattering, it'd be one that I would want to buy. But for 64 Australian dollars, it's not one that I would take a gamble with online, even 20% off. So yeah, that's one that I probably won't use and don't need, but interests me. Another thing from Becca that this is sort of getting a little bit into, well, it's getting into base products, getting slightly into skincare products. The Skin Love Glow Shield Prime and Set Mist. This is 54 Australian dollars, and I know that this smells amazing. Because I have smelt it in store, and there's something about it that was just really refreshing and beautiful. I was with Hayley at the time. She bought one. I think it was the last one available in store. And I don't know if I would have bought it because I don't need it, but as soon as I use up a bunch of my setting sprays or finishing sprays, this is one that I would definitely add to my cart. Let's favorite that. And in the future, I'll come back to it. All right, I didn't actually delve again too much into foundations because I have a drawer full of foundations, and even if I had unlimited money and I could do whatever I wanted to do and I could try all these fancy brands and high-end brands, there is a Tom Ford, actually there's a Tom Ford foundation that's just come out. Is that in Sephora? All right, no, it hasn't come to Sephora Australia yet, so I don't have to worry about that, thank God, because there is a sort of matte foundation that they have just released and it looks really interesting, so that would be on my list. But one foundation that I actually have swatched in store and it sort of stayed in my mind, but there's sort of an element to it which is hard. It's actually from KVD Vegan Beauty, which was Kat Von D, and I didn't like Kat Von D. She's an anti-vaxxer, so I found it really hard to want to buy her products, but now that she's severed ties, this is now on my radar. So this is the True Portrait Medium Coverage Shake Foundation. What I liked about this when I tried it was I liked the amount of coverage. So I do like a decent medium coverage on a daily basis. And it did feel really smoothing, and it looked really, really flattering when I swatched it on my hand. Again, this is probably one that I would get a sample of first because I don't need more foundations. And for 57 Australian dollars, I definitely don't need to add something to my foundation graveyard that I'm not going to use. But it is one that, from swatching it, it felt really, really nice. It had a nice sort of like smooth, perfecting, like matte but not drying finish, and it had a really nice amount of coverage. So that'd be one that I'd look into. All right, on to skincare, body care, lip care, whatever, that kind of stuff. Fresh is a brand that I haven't used much of. I think I've used one lip balm. I think I had a mini lip balm set, and that was all I've used from Fresh. But they have recently brought out some new lip balms, hydrating lip balms in new scents that are really, really gorgeous. I don't know if they have the watermelon one on here, but that was one that was interesting. There is a watermelon hydrating lip balm, but it's currently out of stock, so that's why I couldn't find it. But they brought out recently a whole bunch of new different scents. There's like lemon, coconut, a whole bunch of stuff. But the ones that interest me, blood orange does sound nice as well. I'd probably buy blood orange. But the ones that interest me, definitely watermelon. I do love watermelon. And there's something about watermelon lip balms that are really nostalgic to me, because I had a watermelon lip balm that I loved when I was probably like 10. And for some reason, it's like stuck in my brain that watermelon lip balms, they just bring me like happiness, which is good. It's nice. It's nice to feel that. So I'd probably buy that one. I also really like the lime mint one. That sounds like it's like cocktail just on my lips waiting to happen. And also the caramel one sounds delicious. So they're ones that I would probably smell in store and then pick my favorite. Lemon sounds nice. They all sound nice. Coconut, I'm not there for coconut. I'm not doing it. But those are the ones that sort of interest me. A couple other things from Fresh that are more like body products that I would love to try. This is way too expensive, so let's put it out there. I would not buy this, but I love body scrubs, and the brown sugar body scrub sounds awesome. It is 56 Australian dollars. So again, I'm not, going to spend $50 odd for a body scrub when I can get them a lot cheaper, and it's essentially just oils and sugar, but it sounds like it smells delicious, and it sounds like it'd be a really beautiful sort of treat yourself experience. And the last Fresh thing that I would love to try is the brown sugar bath and shower gel, because I do use shower gels, and if this smells amazing, I probably would actually spend $32 on it. It's 300 mils, hopefully it lasts a long time, and I use it every day, so that is one that interests me. All right, moving on from Fresh, a couple of brands that really interest me when it comes to products that I haven't tried much from the brands, but at the same time, they always interest me. So I mainly looked at skincare by a couple of categories and also a couple of brands. One brand was Ole Henriksen. The Truth Juice Daily Cleanser sounds awesome. It's got pretty good reviews. It's 4.5 star reviews out of 5. It's 38 Australian dollars, which is not that bad. For 150 mils, I would definitely buy this. Spoiler, I didn't buy this, but I should have bought this. Bugger, maybe next sale I'll buy this. But what I really like about this is that it does have like an orange scent. I have smelt this in store. It smells really gorgeous. It's got orange fruit water in it, but it also is supposed to be really good at removing like oils and makeup, and it's got a luxurious gel cream texture, which sounds really nice. I'm really bummed I didn't add this to my cart, and I don't want to place another order because then I would feel the need to spend $50 to get free shipping, which is very annoying. But I'm coming for this. I'm adding this to my favorites, adding it back to my favorites, my wish list, and I'm coming back to you. Another brand that I'm really interested in when it comes to skincare is Murad. From what I've tried, I've liked everything. I have tried a Murad mini vitamin C sort of kit. I took that traveling with me started last year. So one thing I would buy is the Essential C Day Moisture. This is SPF 15. It's 108 Australian dollars, so it's not cheap. So what I like about this moisturizer is I do like a basic daily moisturizer that has some SPF in it. It does say SPF 15, but in the description, it does say broad spectrum SPF 30. So what they've probably done is have to legally label it SPF 15 because they haven't gone through the testing in Australia, but it probably has higher SPF in it. And it does have vitamin C, which is good. And it's also got salicylic acid in it as well. So it sounds like a really nice just overall moisturizer that does a lot of things. But yeah, it's sort of a one and done step, which I do really like during the day. If you just want a quick thing to throw on your face, this is one I'd try. And I do have something else from Murad. Here we go, a night moisturizer. So that'd be the day one. This would be the night one. This is the City Skin Overnight Detox Moisturizer. So this is $115 for 50 grams, so it's more expensive. And what I like about this, so it sort of is in the same range. So it also has antioxidants. It's supposed to help detoxify the skin and reduce lines and wrinkles. So this is more of an anti-aging thing. It's supposed to help neutralize pollutants and strengthen the skin's barrier at night. So again, it's got vitamin C for brightening and evening the skin tone. So essentially it is more of an anti-aging sort of night treatment in that range, and they both sound really great. I would try them. And then the last skincare item would be the Pharmacy Sleep Tight Firming Night Balm. Again, this is a brand that I've never tried, and I would want to try something from Pharmacy. I've heard some really good things about them. And this product is 83 Australian dollars. It's got 547 reviews and it gives it a 4 out of 5. So it's not a bad sounding product. So it's supposed to be a lightweight balm that helps moisturize, supports firming and toning, and reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles while you sleep, which I think that sounds really nice. At the moment, I like something that is probably a little bit, creates a bit of a layer because it helps keep sort of the moisture in the skin, which we're currently sleeping with heaters on for the baby, and I just feel like I get really like dry. So this is something that I've never really tried a night balm. So I don't know, it sounds like a facial oil mixed with maybe a moisturizer, and it's supposed to look, if it can help with fine lines and wrinkles while I sleep, I might favorite that one again. The last thing I want to talk about was a hair care product. I actually don't do much to my hair, as you can probably tell. I cut it and I tie it up as much as possible and I wash it, and that's about it. But I do like using oils on my hair. So after I have a shower, in my towel dried hair, I do put a bit of oil. And one brand that I do really like the effects of their products is Olaplex. So I saw that there's the No. 7 bonding oil. It says 23 reviews, but it gets a 4.5 out of 5 rating. This is $50 for a 30 ml. And this is something that I don't currently need any hair oils, but I would try it from this brand because I like their other sort of treatment, which, yeah, does really nice things to the hair. So I thought this would do some nice things too. I also have quite frizzy hair, and I look for a hair oil that will nourish the hair without making it look greasy or feeling waxy. And I would hope that this does that. I don't know if it does, but it is, you know, designed for dull sort of frizzy hair. So I like that. All right, so that's a big cart. I went through a lot of things and I found a lot of products that I don't need, but part of me wants. So I'll put a total on the screen of how much money that adds up to, which is a lot, but there's probably only a handful of things that I would actually put my money where my mouth is and buy. And to answer the question of what I actually did buy during the Sephora sale, I'm going to say I bought 2 Natasha Denona palettes. I bought the bronze palette, which was enabled by Hayley. Blame Hayley. She messaged me and she was like, I want to buy the bronze palette. If you buy the bronze palette, I'll buy the bronze palette because on sale it's $88. Do you want one? And I was like, I would buy one if you buy one. And so we went around in circles a little bit being like, if you buy one, I'll buy one. If I buy one, you buy one. Fuck it, we'll just buy it. So we did place an order for that. And then I was actually looking at swatches and reviews of the bronze palette, and it is very, very sort of rosy, sort of red tone, copper toned. And I was like, oh, there's not enough cool tones in there. So I ended up placing another order, and I placed an order for the mini Glam eyeshadow palette because those are the tones that I sort of really was interested in. ignore crying baby in the background. And then to get free shipping, I decided to throw in that Fenty Gloss Bomb Duo, because if I bought the individual one, I wouldn't get free shipping, but if I bought the duo, I did. So the Double Take Lip Duo I also bought in the second Sephora order that hopefully will come soon. So that's what I ended up buying, but I've added a couple more things to my wish list, and next sale, maybe I will invest in some skincare and perfume maybe. All right, so that is my fantasy basket. It is long, it is arduous, it is expensive, but that's the kind of stuff that right now I'm looking at, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to try. I would love to know what's on your wish list. So if you've got a Sephora wish list, let me know what's on it, like the top 2 or 3 things that you really, really want to get, because, you know, if they're cool things, I might add them to my cart too. So there we go. All right, guys. So I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.